welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name's Nick. Welcome back to the world famous Bottom of the Stream podcast. It's movie time.
It is movie time. It's wildcard movie time.
Oh, yes.
Robin had the week off this week, or last week.
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice, Ross Cook's choice. Ross Cook has picked this week's film. He is responsible for the content of this episode.
I like it. Nice disclaimer.
This week, we are watching a film called The Summit of the Gods. The Summit of the Gods was only released in November 2021. So it's a very recent film.
Oh, it's a little baby film.
It is a very baby film. It's a 12A. It runs at 1 hour and 35 minutes. It's currently rated at 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb and is a Netflix original. 7.5 is the highest we've been this season.
Certainly.
By quite a distance.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Happy?
I can see why.
Yes, me too. I agree.
Because it's hard to make an animated film.
Yeah.
And it requires loads of talent.
It does. It's especially hard to make an animated film that is as beautiful as this one.
It looks
Looks-wise.
amazing.
Looks-wise, it's beautiful. It's all hand-painted.
Yeah.
I find that incredible. Some of the scenes where they're just like shots of the mountains, I'm pretty sure that's just mountains.
I know.
But they weren't.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful looking film. If we awarded points on beauty, it would definitely be top of the stream.
Yeah, it is awe-inspiring. Like,
Yeah,
you still have the tracking shots of like, fuck me, that's an actual mountain.
Yeah, but it isn't. It's all hand painted. It's incredible. When Ross picked this film, I asked him if there was a dub, and he said there was. Now there isn't. However, this film has an English cast and a French cast.
Okay,
It is not a dub. It has been reacted
that makes a lot of
by
sense.
in both languages.
So
The credits actually give you each character 2 or 3 times.
Nice.
So it's been reacted.
I
I don't know if reacted is the word, is the term, but that's what I'm calling it.
can completely understand that. I started off watching this movie with the original soundtrack and the subtitles, and I thought, I got a couple of minutes in, I was like, do you know what, I'm going to switch, because I had in my mind from when we watched Tear Along the Dotted Line.
Yeah.
Back in the...
That had the same thing, hadn't it?
Yeah, back in the Extending the Rods days. And I'm glad I switched, because I got more from the English actors than just from the subtitles.
Yeah.
Because the subtitles were definitely more rudimentary
Right, okay.
than both in terms of the content and the actual vocabulary.
No.
So it was a good choice to make, and it completely makes sense.
What I'm basically saying is, if you don't like watching the dub, you don't have to worry about in this film.
You're not losing out.
You're not missing out. It is revoiced by proper English actors.
If you speak French, watch it in French. Speak English, watch the English.
Absolutely.
That would be my recommendation.
Absolutely. There's no need to watch the French and read the subtitles. Yeah. There's no need to do that. The French cast are Eric Herson Marcerel. He plays Habu Joji. And Damien Busso plays Fukumachi. They're the 2 French guys. The English language guys, they're Americans, I assume, is Darren Barnett plays Fukumachi. And the amazingly named Rich Ting plays Habu Joji.
That's brilliant.
That's his name, Rich Ting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. This film was directed by a guy called Patrick Lambert, and it was written... There's 5 people got a writing credit on this film.
Okay.
The 2 original manga authors are Hiro Taniguchi and Baku Yuma Makora. And then the film was written by Nagali Puzo, Patrick Lambert, Sean Charles Osterato. That's what I'm going
Are
with.
you stuck?
Yep. That is my facts on this film.
I thought your needle was stuck there for a second.
Next week, can we just have like John Smith in a film? So I feel like I've done a lot of pronunciations lately. Do you have a 1-word review, Nick?
Rocky.
Yeah, there's some rocks in it.
Good.
We're up a mountain.
And a few rocky moments as well.
Well, yeah, there is that. Where does this film start?
The mountains.
It does. Where would you credit it?
We start off straight away with these vast, sweeping visuals.
So the credits are rolling over the top of.
Men are climbing.
They are indeed.
Men are taking photos. It's like it's ye olde times.
Yeah.
Because they're not exactly wearing like trespass jackets or anything like that. Other jackets are available.
True.
Craghoppers. And they're taking photos, but the camera being used is also a ye olde camera.
Dated.
And then the weather becomes weather.
Good shout, it does. Yeah, and then but our main character is a guy called Fukamachi. He's doing like a voiceover over the top of this as well. So he's explaining how dangerous the mountain is.
Sure.
And what these guys put themselves through to get up there. We're getting a bit of history on who's going up there, why they're going up there.
He's a photographer and he's accompanying a team.
Yes.
Up Everest? Or
yes.
part of Everest,
part
anyway.
Of Everest, I think. They're getting told to turn back due to this weather issue.
There's a storm coming.
Yeah. And then he calls his editor. He goes later that day, I assume.
Back in Kathmandu.
But they're back down on ground level. Is it ground level when the mountain's still ground, technically? Sea level.
Yes. Well, closer to sea level.
Yeah, when they're back down in the pub, basically. They're in a bar. He's calling his editor. He's worried that all his pictures suck.
He's having a crisis of confidence, isn't he,
like,
Fukamachi?
I'm not getting good photos. There's no good story here with these guys. I'm not enjoying it.
I was like, we've had to turn back. I'm not happy with the photos. What's my life?
Yeah. And whilst he's talking on the phone, some guy comes up to him and tries to sell him a camera.
Said ye olde
looking camera. And he turns it away. He's all flustered.
He says it's Mallory's camera.
Yeah.
You know, the dude who got lost up at Everest.
Yeah. So
who may or may not have been the first person to...
Yeah, there's this history on Everest of did Mallory reach the summit or not? Nobody knows. We'll never know, probably. That's basically what the basis of this film is, isn't it? But he turns him away. He gets all flustered.
He's like, you're trying to scam me.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Nice. As he leaves the bar later that night, he sees the same guy getting beaten up or mugged in an alleyway.
His camera is taken from him.
Yeah.
This oldie camera.
Yeah.
By a bigger boy.
A bigger boy takes it. And he kind of makes eye contact with this guy afterwards, Fukamachi does. And
he knows who this guy is.
There's a bit of recognition in his eye at this point.
He just says, Habu.
Yeah. Then we cut to a kid. He's running through some sort of cornfield. And
he's climbing, but it's summer. Yeah. It's safe.
It's safe to climb in the summer.
It's a lovely grassy knoll that he's running
This is not Everest that this guy's rolling up. And he gets to the peak and watches either a sunrise or a sunset. I couldn't make out which way the sun was going, one of the two. Then we get the bit more history on Mallory. It was 1924 when he went missing on the mountain. Nobody knows if he ever summited. If he did, then great, but we'll never know. However, if this camera is real...
Yeah, so the legend of this camera, and this is true, it has never been found in real life. But they even got Kodak to do some research. Really? And they said if this camera were to be found, it is possible you might be able to get some pictures off it.
Exciting.
Because no one knows if Mallory actually made it to the top, or if he died on the way up or on the way down.
Imagine if he got to the top and just didn't take any pictures.
Yeah. Which
it was snowing. I couldn't be bothered to get all the camera.
Wouldn't happen nowadays, wouldn't it? It'd be like selfies all over the place. But
yeah, you'd know for definite. Yeah. Straight to the cloud. But by this point now, Fukamachi's convinced that was the camera, and he's made an error by turning it away when he had the opportunity.
And he's back in a meeting with his editor, and he says, "I think I saw this Habu guy."
Yeah.
And we start to learn the history of this guy. He was an awesome climber. Yeah. A young prodigy.
Yeah, best climber in the world.
Who disappeared.
Yeah, went missing a few years ago.
So Fukamachi thinks he might have his new story.
Yeah. So if I found this Habu guy, Habu Joji, and he has got this camera, then this is the ultimate climbing story in the history of climbing stories. And then we cut to Habu.
But it's a flashback.
It's a flash. Yeah, there's a lot of time jumping in this.
But once I'd worked out what was happening, I liked how it was set out. So basically, we're not jumping perspective. But we just don't know it yet. We're still following Fukamachi. But he is reading up on the history of Habu. Yeah. He's in the library, isn't he? So through news articles, magazines, and what we're seeing is that but realised as a flashback.
So it's a film with two halves. This film, the first half is the establishment of these two characters. Yeah. It's getting to know and meeting these two guys, and literally finding out everything you need to know about them. And then in the second half, they come together. Yeah, and we'll get to that. So we cut to Habu, and he's got his team of climbers, and they find out that they've got a sponsor to go to Everest. However, the sponsor is only prepared to give half of the money.
Sure.
And so some of the poorer members of this crew can't go.
Yeah, they
And
can't
Habu
fund it.
He's one of the poorer members of this
Yeah,
crew.
despite being the most talented
Yeah.
climber, he can't afford to go on this expedition.
on this expedition. So he gets a bit down and depressed by that. He goes out to drinking with his climbing partner.
Yeah, who is not as passionate about climbing as
Yeah.
Habu, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, he's more of an assistant.
He's
isn't
also got a growing, I presume, a burgeoning business career because
Yeah.
he keeps walking into a posh tower block with the
Yeah.
suit on.
Absolutely. But Habu comes to the realization that they need to get famous.
Yeah.
Because if they get famous as climbers, they will get a sponsorship and they'll be able to go and
Do whatever.
realize this
whatever he
dream of
wants to,
climbing
yeah.
Everest that he's always had. So he decides he needs to climb the Demon Wall, but in winter,
Yeah.
which has never been done before. This is how he's going to make himself famous.
And we're back to season 1 of Bottom of the Stream.
Yeah,
the
100%.
Demon Wall is very Dawn Wallish.
Yeah, it is. It's a sheer rock face.
Except it's icy. It's winter.
icy.
And it's fucking massive.
Yeah, it's huge. And he's going to do it. He's not going to solo it. He's going to do it with this. I can't remember his partner's name.
No, but no one's done this in winter. No one's done this route before.
Yeah,
so he
exactly.
thinks this is my way to fame.
And then we get a bit of a montage of them doing it.
They nail it.
And they nail it. They do it. They both get to the top. And that's how we meet Habu. We then cut back to Fukamachi. He's determined he's going to find Habu. Then we go back to Habu. So the first half of this film, we're cutting between the two of them. People are talking in the bar about his
He
accomplishments.
started to get some notoriety
He is, but he's also getting some negativity from it. So
because he's a bastard.
yeah, basically.
Because he's sitting down with his climbing buddies or club or whatever, and,
Yeah.
and Habu basically has just got this ego,
yeah,
and he sells his climbing partner absolutely down the river.
yeah, 100%.
He's like, well, I went first.
Yeah,
I plotted the route.
Yeah.
He just followed behind me.
I basically did it all on my own.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Right while his mate is sitting next to him.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys just there,
Yeah.
just taking all that in. People are claiming that he was lucky, that he got lucky on the day or whatever, and he's like, it wasn't luck, it's just the skill. Inoue is his partner.
Yeah.
He doesn't look happy. He doesn't look like he's impressed with Habu's.
Attitude.
This guy has done this alongside Habu, but he isn't getting the credit for it. And then they start having a discussion about what would you do if your partner got into trouble on a mountain.
Yeah. And Habu's like, I'd cut him,
Yeah, I'd cut him loose.
Cut him loose.
I can't.
and I'd want someone
have
to
any
do
dead
the
weight.
same to me.
Yeah, if I got into trouble and there was no other option, cut him off and kill him.
Yeah.
That's what he says. And then on his way out of that bar, another famous climber approaches him.
Well, a young...
Potentially wants to be a famous climber.
this is Hase.
Yeah.
I liked this because you see, we don't listen to the whole story, but we get like a montage of Habu animatedly telling his tale.
Yeah,
to
basically, this guy
young
wants to
lad.
learn everything he
Yeah.
can from Habu. So Habu just stands outside this bar and teaches him his life story.
And there's like a
tells him
time
everything.
passing montage. As
Yeah, they're out there
we
sitting
see
for
him
hours.
gesticulating.
Yeah, and he gets the full story. And then at the end of this story, what was the guy's name?
Hase
Hase. He announces that he's going to attempt the Demon Wall
on his own.
on his own, which would surpass Habu's
Yeah. It'd
achievement.
be old news.
Yeah, he'd be old news. Cut to, I presume, some time later.
Yeah.
Habu has the radio on whilst he's working out, and the story tells of this guy achieving his mission of climbing the Demon Wall.
He's done it. He's the
alone.
new star of climbing.
Yeah, because he has achieved this mission of climbing the Demon Wall alone.
He's on radio. He's on all the climbing magazines.
Yeah.
Climbing's pretty big in this movie.
It
I mean,
is.
we're in the climbing bubble,
Yeah.
but he's all over the place. Hase.
Yeah, he is. Habu is not happy. We find out at this point as well that Habu is working on a building site,
Yeah, he's got his construction job to
Yeah,
make
he's
ends
just
meet. I suppose.
trying to make some money, but he wants some time off to go climbing, and he gets refused, so he quits.
Yeah.
Quits his job.
But his climbing partner won't come out of his office.
Yep.
When Habu's waiting for him, presumably to try and convince him to join him on the next trek.
Yeah.
Because he was a shit to him.
Yeah, exactly. And then Fukamachi in the next scene is interviewing Inoue.
Yeah.
Because he's now trying to track down Habu by going to
Yeah,
people
no
that
one.
knew him.
He's trying to work out, did I see this guy in that alleyway?
Yeah, where is he?
Where is
Who
he?
is he? What's he been up to for the last few years? Inoue basically reveals that he quit. He hasn't climbed. He quit climbing because Abu was selfish. He doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, he said not a team player.
He's not a team player.
Couldn't trust him.
Cut back to Abu. Abu is loading his car up, ready to go on a climbing mission. He's going to do some climbing. And there's this kid who he knows or potentially knows.
Yeah, I presume he was just lived
Somebody
on the
who lives
same
locally.
street.
And this
or
kid
whatever.
wants to go with him. He idolises Abu.
He's like, give me a chance. I want to
take-
learn from you.
Yeah, let me be your partner. You
Yeah.
don't have a partner. You can't do it alone. Let me come with you. I'll learn some stuff from you. So Abu is reluctant, but eventually he does let him.
Yeah.
He's like, yep, come with me. I do need somebody. You're right. And they start climbing together. There's a montage basically of them climbing.
It looks great.
Doing
Again,
this, yeah,
it's
beautiful.
summer. It's beautiful. Again, looks magnificent.
Yeah, and Abu's taking the lead again, and the kid's kind of following in his footsteps. They go with this ridge, which is difficult. You have to have like ladders and everything to get through it, and they get through it. And then disaster strikes, I guess is what you would say.
Yeah.
Because the kid slips and falls
Yes.
whilst he's holding Abu's rope, and he's now suspended from Abu, but hanging over this ridge.
Yeah.
From his rope, and it's quite tense. The scene.
I thought it was very tense. The bit when Habu has to, because the like crampons start to slip,
Yeah.
And-
The thing that's holding them both up, basically.
and he has
starts
to
pulling out of the
quickly put
mountain.
a hammer another couple in to
Yeah.
reattach them, just as they're starting to sort
Yeah,
of slip down, was really intense.
Yeah, I
thought.
agree. They're both in danger at that point. I was on the edge of my seat for this scene.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, this is thrilling. And the kid's just dangling there. He can't help himself. He can't tie himself off anywhere.
Yeah.
Abu isn't strong enough to pull him up.
He's-
We're
he's-
basically in this situation.
He's
we were
hanging
just
by
talking
the
about.
rope round his stomach,
Yeah.
so
So
and he's not near enough the rock face to hold on to anything.
no, and Abu's not capable of lifting him
Yeah.
back up. Abu's not capable of lifting him. So we're basically in this situation we were just talking about in the bar,
Yeah.
where Abu said if anything happened, he would cut somebody loose. But does he? Can he do that? Is he able to do that?
Yeah,
In
he's-
reality.
First, he tries a couple of things. First, he tries to pull this kid up,
Yeah.
but the rope starts to fray on the edge of the ridge,
Yes.
so he has to stop that attempt. And then Bataro, the kid's called,
Okay.
he passes out.
Yeah, he does.
I thought he was dead. I
thought he had
gone.
died as
I
well,
was like,
yeah.
oh, he's maybe because he snapped back up. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe he's internally bleeding. And,
Yeah.
you know, I thought he's dead. No,
But he wasn't,
he wakes
because
up.
he wakes up and a lot of time has passed. It's night.
He's not in a good way.
No, he's not in a good way. It's night. Night has fallen, so which is a dangerous place to be on the side of a wintry mountain at night, I would imagine. He's definitely hurt. He can't climb back up. So Abu makes the decision that he's going to have to cut this kid loose. He literally starts cutting the rope.
Yeah.
As he cuts it, the kid also cuts it.
Yeah.
And the kid cuts himself off from Abu and drops to his death.
He
And
does.
we lose this kid. And it was like, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
that's like quite it's a scene, that is.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, that's quite a big scene in this. Well, it's the biggest scene in this movie. But yeah, it's
And
That's
Abu
impressive.
is there's a montage of him being very sad.
yeah. Because he promised to take him to the Alps. He was going to.
Yeah, he basically,
they become friends,
you know,
isn't
you can be my apprentice.
he? Yeah. So in the next scene, we're back down at the bottom. The police are there. There's ambulances there. The kid gets a sheet put over his head and taken into the back of an
Yeah.
ambulance. I think, Abu's being strapped up and bandaged and sorted out. And the kid's sister's there. She's crying. It's all quite intense.
Yes, it is,
It's
yeah.
all kicking off. And then we cut back to Fukumachi. He's reading this, and as we said, he's reading all of this in newspapers. So
He is, yeah.
what we've just seen is all what's happened in Fukumachi's head. So he goes to interview this kid's sister.
Yes, she's still around.
Yep, she's still about. She straight away says, "Look, I don't blame Abu. It's not his fault.
He said
It's
my
not
brother
his
didn't
issue.
have to go.
He didn't have to go. He wanted to go. He
Yeah.
idolized Abu. It was his hero. He got the opportunity to climb with him. It's not Abu's fault."
Fukumachi asks her, "Well, have you been in contact with him since? I'm trying
Yeah.
to track him down. I'm trying to find out what his story is." And she says he gave me some money.
Yep.
And we did exchange letters.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
After my brother's death, but they stopped around 3 years ago.
Yeah, she
I
says,
have
I
no
haven't
idea
heard
where
from
he
him
is.
for 3 years. I've no idea where he is. She says the last I heard he'd gone to Europe. because he wanted to climb what they call the Winter Trilogy
Yeah, three faces
in the Alps. They did have names, so I didn't write them all down. He was going to do that alone, so that's the last she heard. That's the last where she was going.
This gives Fukumachi another lead to follow.
Yep.
Because we end up then taking up the story over in Europe.
Yeah.
And he's obviously back on the trail here because he finds out that Habu went to try and do these three faces in the Alps. But also, Hase was there at the same time.
Oh, was it the same guy? I didn't pick up on that. Okay.
So his rival, who did come to fame, was they were both trying to complete the same thing at the same time.
And Abu was winning.
He was ahead.
He was ahead.
Yeah.
So he was right near the top of the last one.
Yeah.
And then disaster strikes again, and he falls. And something breaks, his rope breaks or something, and he ends up dangling, quite badly injured from this rope.
He's got one arm.
Yeah.
And because the other one's fucked.
Yeah, basically. And he drops both of his picks as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. So Habu, he needs to climb up to the ridge.
Yeah.
Where he was or had been earlier.
Yeah.
Because that's where his pack is. But he can only use one arm. So he has to climb using his one good arm and then his mouth.
Yeah, he's using his teeth to climb. Because he can't climb the rock face because he's got no pick. So he's having to climb the rope. And so he's using his one good arm and his teeth to climb this rope.
Yeah. It was cool.
It was cool as fuck. I'm not going to lie.
What a badass.
Yeah. And again, night falls. He's still there. He does manage to get to this ridge. He's still there at night. He sees a vision of the dead kid hanging in front of him.
Yeah.
He's having like nightmares about it. And he very nearly freezes to death.
He does. He passes out.
His hands go all black. He passes out. And then he opens his eyes briefly and he sees a helicopter in the distance. And he gets rescued. It turns out he'd been on there for 3 days on this rock face.
Yeah, 3 days, 5 hours.
Yeah. And it turns out his rival had saved him.
Well, his team had put the alarm out and helped search.
Yeah, and then found him. But he did manage to lose 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Frostbite got him and he lost 2 of his fingers.
And again, we find out that this just secured Hase as a star. He did it. He made all 3 faces, and again, Habu is denied his fame and his fortune.
And then we find him working in a mountaineering supply shop.
Yeah,
not too long afterwards. And then we get a news report of a famous mountaineer who dies on Everest.
Yeah,
there's a bottom of the stream news report, even in animated films.
It's Hase.
Oh, was it Hase?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not following this film, apparently. So, yeah,
his great rival has died trying to climb the southwest face of Everest alone.
So, and
which no one has ever done.
No. Abu owes this guy his life. It's like, this guy saved his life, and now he's dead. And that kind of makes Abu spiral again. We cut back to Fukumachi briefly. His editor's basically saying to him, look, forget it. Move on.
There's no story here.
Forget this story. Forget Abu. You're not going to find this camera. You're not going to find Abu. Go back to taking your pretty photos. Because
Fukumachi's theory is that Habu is gearing up to attempt Hase's the same as the journey that Hase was killed on.
Yeah.
Go this.
But he figures that's what he's probably trying to do. And he gets a call. Fukumachi gets a call from the lady he met earlier, the kid sister. She's found the last letter that she had from Abu.
Yep.
And it's from Nepal. It was from Kathmandu or wherever.
It
was a little village just outside. The closest village to the base camp of Everest is where it was addressed from. She says it's 3 years old, but there's a chance he's still there. He might just be living there. So
I liked this next bit. I thought it was as cool as a montage of people packing a suitcase can be.
Yeah,
I thought this was good because it was Habu 3 years ago.
Yeah,
packing to go to Nepal, and Fukumachi now packing to go to Nepal.
Yeah.
I just thought it was quite cool.
And they're both making the same journey to the same place. And then Fukumachi arrives. He's in Nepal. Arrives in this little village. He says,
doorstepping the locals.
Yeah, he is.
Doing some proper investigations.
He needs to know if Fukumachi's there, because Everest, from this village, is a 1 road and 1 week's walk to get to the base of Everest. But if he's there, I will find him. That's what Fukumachi says. So there's a montage. There's a montage of him asking locals, showing his photo off. Has anybody seen him? And eventually finds him. He finds this little stone hut in the middle of nowhere.
Hut on a hill.
Yep, just little thing in the middle of nowhere. And Abu says to him, "What the fuck? What do you do?
Go away.
What do you want? Who are you? Go away." So Fukumachi says, "Look,
I know you are.
I know you are. I know you were in.
I know what you're going to try and do.
And I know you were in this alleyway a few nights ago, or however long ago." And he asked him about the camera. He's like, is this camera a thing? Do you have this camera? And Abu's not up for this. He's like, go away.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you. I'm here to do this alone. This is a very personal journey I'm about to go on.
Fukumachi said, at first he says he's retired.
Yes, he does.
And he quickly sort of, that line gets shot down. And Fukumachi says, let me climb with you.
Yeah.
Well, behind you.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to make it to the top, you need someone to document it.
Yeah.
You know I'm right. I won't bother you. You don't have to look after me. Because Fukumachi is a skilled climber.
Yeah.
Just I'll be behind you. I can take photos. We'll prove that you've done it.
Yeah.
You'll finally be famous.
Abu's like, no, not happening. Don't want you to. Fukumachi's like, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to wait here.
He basically waits him out.
Yeah, he's like...
Again, time passes. Yeah. And he just hangs around.
Hangs around him, yeah. Nobody has done the southwest face of Everest in the winter. And Abu is now going to try to do it alone. And definitely nobody's ever done it alone. So this is a big, big thing that he's attempting.
They've got a gap of... I think he says... He's got to do it in 4 days, 3 nights.
It's the only way it's possible. He's got like a Sherpa friend. And Fukumachi's doing a voiceover again. He's like, I'm not going to miss this for anything. I'm going to follow him whether he wants me to follow him or not. And
the guy tells Fukumachi that actually Habu's been prepping for this for 8 years. Yeah. So they wait. They just wait. They're waiting for a break in the weather.
Yeah, because he eventually talks Abu down. He's like, yep, you can come to me, but you must know the rules of an alone climb. And that is no communication. If I get in trouble, you're not helping me. You can't help me.
Yeah, look after yourself.
If you get in trouble, I will not come back and help you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. We can't talk. We can't communicate. I'm doing this alone. It's a very personal journey. It's going to take 4 days and 3 nights. It's the only way it's possible. We
leave in the morning.
And we're basically going to leave in the morning, yeah. Abu, the Sherpa meets up with Fukumachi during the night and he's like, you need to know how dangerous this is. Because I don't know if you're fully prepared for what you're about to take on.
What does he say? He says, once you're above 8,000 feet, you're in the death zone.
Yeah.
Which sounds something like Squid Game.
It does, yeah. Your body will just start shutting down. Yeah. You will get, he says you'll get migraines, you'll get headaches.
Yeah, because you
won't know where you are, you'll have visions, you'll have hallucinations.
They're not taking oxygen.
Yeah, they're doing it completely unoxygenated.
Equipped.
Yeah. And so Fukumachi says to Abu, why do you do this? And he's like, look, once you get a taste for this, you can't live without it.
Yeah.
I physically can't not do this. I have to do this. It's just in my blood. And basically, he asks again about the camera, because Fukumachi's only doing this because he wants this camera. He wants the friendship or the recognition from Abu as well, but he wants this camera. And again...
He knows how big a story Mallory's camera could be.
Exactly. And
he won't answer.
Abu won't answer the question. He pisses him off even asking about it. And he doesn't answer any questions. He just says, look, we're going tomorrow. So they do. And we enter kind of like the second phase of this movie now. Yeah. Because the rest of this movie now is them trying to climb this mountain. And it's fucking wonderful. So Abu is in the lead. Fukumachi is following, probably half a mile behind, taking photos.
Distance behind.
Good distance, taking photos of him from the distance. Fukumachi gets to a crevice in the rock, and you can see footprints on either side. So it's obvious that Abu has had to jump this crevice.
Yes.
Fukumachi does not look as impressed by that as he maybe should be. But he does it. He jumps the crevice. He throws his pack over.
It's really dramatic, and there's real tension as to whether he'll make it.
Yeah.
And then he jumps it, and he
easily makes it.
Easily made
his
it.
His feet make it, let alone his head. Then because he's never done anything to this scale before. He knows he's a good climber, but he doesn't know how good a climber he is, I suppose. He's learning about himself at the same time.
He is. Fukumachi climbs because it's his job. Because his job
is to follow climbers and take photos.
Yeah, and he's been partway up Everest before, so his skill's not necessarily in question, but it's his passion isn't climbing.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Because then he gets to a sheer ice face.
Yeah.
That's hundreds of feet high.
You just see a little dot.
You can see a tiny
going
dot
over the top of it.
It's Abu in the distance, just scaling the top. But he does it. Fukumachi gets up. There's a load of snow falls on him at one point.
The sound was great in this as well. It's not often we sort of talk about the Foley stuff or the sound, but the noise of snow was great.
Yeah.
So the footsteps, there's snowfall when, like you say, the snow falls over him. Yeah. The creaking. Yeah. You can hear the earth and the mountain move, and it sounds awesome because these two are alone. Yeah. So this portion of the movie, when you just hear those sounds. And
there's no talking
great. I thought it was great.
There's no talking pretty much for the whole of this. There's the odd voiceover, but they're not communicating with each other. Yeah, so there's no talking going on.
Just the way you just hear the earth move and creak, it's pretty scary actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Suddenly, there's a massive avalanche.
Yeah.
And Fukumachi's about to get caught up in this.
Habu's out of it. He's far enough away.
He's far enough in front. So Fukumachi hides behind this rock, basically.
He runs out, tries to outrun it, realizes that's not going to work, so he takes cover in a hole, basically.
This could have been catastrophic. It could have killed him, but he manages to climb back out of the snow once it's all over and done with. And he sees a tent ahead of himself as he's done a bit more walking, and he can see that Abu's camped out for the night.
He's done.
He's done for the day.
Fukumachi is exhausted.
Yeah,
he's dead on his feet.
Absolutely, he can't even pitch his own tent. Yeah. That sounds wrong. He's that tired. But he does. He pitches his tent right next to Abu's tent, and they don't talk again. Their tents are right next door to each other, but they don't communicate. Yeah. They just go to bed. He gets up for a pee in the night, and we get a lovely look at all the stars above Everest picture. Yeah, it's beautiful. And then the next day they set off again.
The first bit of dialogue for ages comes when Habu is on the radio to his guide who's back at base camp, who says, you've got to go quick today.
There's a storm coming.
You've got to be at this point by this time.
Yeah.
So you can shelter because there is a storm. The storm's hit down here and it's on its way up to you.
Yeah.
This is not good news for Fukumachi because he had a tough day yesterday.
It did. It wasn't easy.
And he's starting to feel the altitude.
Yeah. And he's starting to get migraines. He's starting to get visions. He's in agony. All his hands are in agony. His feet are in agony. He's not in a good way. And he gets word of this storm, and basically they're halfway up a rock face.
Yeah.
When this storm hits, there's loads of climbing footage before that, but this storm hits them, and he manages to tie himself off and just stop on the side of this mountain.
Yeah.
Fukumachi does.
Yeah.
But Abu keeps.
He passes
moving.
out.
Yeah. He does.
I liked how this was done. So I thought his altitude sickness was animated really well.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
You had it's an animated version of like a rush of blood to the head. Yeah, that's all I can say. He's slowly being absorbed by just this redness.
He's seen everything in black and red, and it is quite. You can really get the pain that he must be in from
and the migraines because it flashes.
Yeah,
doesn't it? And I thought it was a really clever visual representation of being in pain.
Yeah, it was because everything in this film is white and blue.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you're hit with red and black, and you're like, yeah, I completely see what they were going for there, and it really, really worked. And he does. He passes out. Abu keeps moving, but he passes out, hanging from the side of this mountain. And the storm sets in. And then when he wakes up, Abu has come to help him.
Yeah, he's right
by
next
him,
to his
right
face.
Next to him, it's virtually in his face. Fukumachi's like, you can't. We agreed that we weren't going to help each other. You need to leave. Get away from me. I don't want your help. But Abu's not going to leave him to die.
Yeah, Abu takes him through what he needs to do, and he carries this dude up. Like he scales this sheer rock face with Fukumachi on his back.
Yeah, this guy's got 2 fingers missing as well. Remember, and when Fukumachi wakes up, he's in his tent.
Yeah,
he's basically been taken.
They're
in
the same tent.
They're both in the same tent now.
They're still on the rock face, but they're on a little ridge.
Yeah,
because Habu says to Fukumachi, draw your legs in.
Yeah,
because hanging their legs
rocks falling, you're going to get beaten. He's like, you need to drink as much as you can because you're dehydrated. You need to sort yourself out. And then Abu says, it ends here. It's impossible.
He says, you're going down. Yeah. Tomorrow.
Well, he basically says, we're done. We can't do it. It's impossible.
He says, with the time, our window's shut.
Yeah, we've taken too much time. It can't be
We're not getting up and down safe. Yeah.
So we need to, it's over. We need to go back in the morning. And he actually tells the story now to Fukumachi of where he found the camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, it wasn't far from where we are now. It was just a little bit further up. He says he reveals at this point that he's attempted this multiple times, but has always failed. And then last winter, when he was trying it, he found Mallory's body, and there's a nice image of a dead skeleton climber in the snow.
Do you know what? I did a bit of googling of Mallory, and just to get up on the story. That real photo, is the same.
Really?
So, they said recreation of the actual photo.
Wow.
Where they found him.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So they did find his body, but they never found his camera.
His camera is as yet unfound. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if they'd ever found the body or not. That's interesting.
So that legend is true. No, we don't know for sure if he died on the way up or on the way down.
Wow, that's fascinating. And Abu says that at this point. He says, "Look, I found his body. This is where he was. I still don't know if he was coming up or going down.
Yeah,
I've got no idea. But he says, and in a way, it doesn't matter because the mission, the goal, is not summiting Everest. It's
carry on climbing.
Carry on climbing. There's a really nice line at the end of the film I'll mention.
Yeah.
And so the next morning, Fukumachi's ready to go back down. Abu's coming with him, but Abu is not coming with him.
No.
He sends Fukumachi on his own. He's like, go down, sort yourself out, get yourself better.
Yeah.
I'm not coming. I cannot quit this climb again, no matter what. I need to do it. And he does. He continues alone. Fukumachi...
This is just by the night before telling him it's impossible.
It's impossible. It can't be done.
Yeah.
It's just, it's impossible. Abu continues alone. Fukumachi does make his way down the mountain.
So you got a montage of one of them going up, one of them going down.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
And then he eventually does. He reaches the summit. Abu does. Yeah. And he gets to the top.
And it's clear.
Yep.
And you can see
for miles
he's
around.
He's in the clouds.
Yeah, he's above the clouds.
He's in his heaven, I guess.
Basically. Fukumachi, at this same time this is all happening, is reaching base camp, and he reaches back to the Sherpa tent. And the very first thing he says to the Sherpa is, "Have you heard from him? Do you know, is he okay? Has he made it? Whatever." The guy says, "I haven't spoke to him since yesterday morning."
Yeah, on the radio.
Yeah, we're not clear how many days it's taken Fukumachi to get back down, but some days have passed. And it's pretty clear that something's wrong.
The guy says, "No, we just got to wait."
Yeah, we'll wait for him.
It could take days for him to come back.
Absolutely. So they do. They wait for him. They wait and they wait. And they keep waiting.
Fukumachi is having his wounds dressed.
Yeah. His hands are all messed up.
Yeah.
After a few days, the Sherpa's like, he's not coming.
Yeah.
There's no way this guy's coming back.
It's been too long.
And Fukumachi says, let's just wait one more day. And the Sherpa actually says, there's no point. Yeah. He will not have survived this long up there. So they leave together. They've got a horse. They leave together with all their equipment. And the guide says to him, he told me to give you this. And he hands him a package. And it's the camera.
And a letter.
With a note. And he said, the note basically says, you won't find the answer here. But whatever brought you here to me is why I climb. That's why I did it. Right to the end. No regrets.
Yeah, I climbed right to the end. No regrets.
Yeah. And then we cut to Abu's dead body on the side of Everest.
Yeah, slowly being covered up by
snow. And
I took from it, although we didn't get absolute confirmation, I took that he just got to the top and sat down.
Yeah, basically.
He'd not tried to come back down.
No. But also, nobody will ever know if he made it to the top or not.
Sure.
In the same vein as Mallory, because Fukumachi had not made it with the camera.
Yeah.
So, because he wasn't right at the top where he died, he was a little bit further down. It's heart-wrenching. Fukumachi goes home. He goes back home. He develops the camera. He sees the photographs that are on this camera.
Yes. I liked how it was left to our imagination if at that time he was developing the camera from his trip or Mallory's.
Yeah. I think it was Mallory's.
I think it was because he does
say
in this line.
His voice over. He says, I got the answer I was looking for. But
he says, I found out what happened to Mallory.
Yeah.
But he doesn't tell us.
No, we don't.
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I didn't want to know. At that point, I was like, I don't want to know.
Yeah,
because of what Abu said earlier about it not mattering. He said, his line is, I have the answer I was looking for, but it is not enough. What drives someone to risk their life so unnecessarily is what he says.
Yeah.
And he says, now I know there doesn't need to be a reason. The mountains are just a path and the summit is just a step. Once you're there, all is left to do is keep going.
And then we cut to Fukumachi climbing.
At the summit of Everest.
Yeah.
That's basically where he is. So he did it.
Yeah.
And then
he loves climbing now.
And then the film ends.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, it's great.
It's wonderful.
It's
really wonderful.
I can't tell you enough how beautiful this movie is.
Visually and audially,
Yeah.
it's a masterpiece. It's that much.
It is proper.
It's beautiful.
Proper art.
It really is. It really, really is. There's no CGI here. It's all hand drawn, hand painted. It's beautiful. As a visual spectacle, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And the audio as well is amazing.
It is, yeah.
There's a whole probably 15 minutes where nobody talks and you just don't notice. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's just
it wasn't until somebody spoke and I was like, that's been ages.
Nature sounds.
Somebody spoke. I think it was the Sherpa spoke and I was like, that's been a long time since somebody spoke and I hadn't even noticed. It's pretty special.
Equally though, it's not what I expected.
Agreed.
Because
I do have another side.
I thought this was just going to be the tale of two dudes trying to get up Everest.
Yeah.
To be pithy.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the sort of narrative drive of this guy.
Yeah.
And all the, his failed attempts I wasn't expecting it to be as much of a character study.
No, absolutely.
I definitely like the second half more than the first half.
My one criticism would be that the story's a little bit convoluted. There's a lot going on, and the whole thing is just because he wants this camera. And
do you think that's?
But it's a very minor criticism. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think there's something there because this movie is so good. I was so invested in both Fukumachi and Habu. It's created these fantastic original characters. I don't know in the end if it needed the Mallory hook at all.
No.
The camera, I accept, look, it's nice. It's a true life legend.
Yeah.
But the rest of this movie is strong enough and written well enough. They doesn't need that.
That's exactly what I'm trying to get at. It felt a little bit convoluted because there was too much going on there.
The story of just those our two characters is good enough.
Yeah, it is. I think you're right. I think it is, and like you say, the camera's a little bit unnecessary, but it all adds up together. But it just seemed like a lot was going on. Like you just said, the second half is a lot better than the first half. Infinitely better. I
think the plot device they use of, Fukumachi reading up in the library as we're seeing the flashback. It just took me a little while to tune into it, but that might be my fault. But to just tune into the structure.
Yeah, the structures are a little bit all over the place in the first half.
Yeah.
But once they get on that mountain, it's relentless and it's beautiful.
Oh, it's brilliant.
As soon as they get... It's just the first half lets it down a little bit. But this is a very minor.
Yeah.
Very minor.
No, I think that's fair.
Do you want to hear Ross Cook's review of it?
Oh, always.
So Ross has left a review on Letterboxd for this film, which he doesn't do very often. He doesn't write many reviews. He gives a star rating to every film he watches. But he's actually written a review. So would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
He has written, a visual spectacle and an auditory treat. I think we've just agreed with that. Have we not?
I would say so.
He's put, I haven't read the manga, so I can't speak to how close it sticks to the story, style, or feel of the source material. But based on the movie, it's a fantastic tale, very well told. The pacing is great, splitting the story into two halves. The first learning who the two lead characters are, the second being the climb. Both halves are as interesting as the other and work in tandem, telling the story of these two men. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think the second half's a lot better. Telling the stories of these two men driven wholly by similar goals, doing away with any lives that exist outside of the goals. The ending is clear pretty much from the beginning. Yeah, that's fair, I think. I don't think Abu was ever coming off that mountain.
I agree.
But it's still an emotional gut punch when it happens. The soundtrack is amazing, sweeping and grand when needed, but also ominous and claustrophobic at times. Definitely going to download and put it in the rotation. Just like the mountains they climbed, this film is scary but also beautiful.
Good.
4.5 stars.
Very nice.
Indeed. What's the best thing about it? It's 100% the visuals.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. I can't put over enough how good it looks.
There's not a wasted frame in terms of the look of this.
Every frame you could hang on your wall in a frame. It's that beautiful. Every frame is beautiful. What would you change?
I think you can tighten up the first half a little.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you can. I think you can just make it a little bit neater.
Yeah.
It just felt a bit convoluted. Simple as
but
that.
I can live with it.
100%. I'm 100% going to live with it. Do you want to talk stream table?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think this is going to be an easy conversation, isn't it?
Yes.
Again,
Makes
second week.
2 weeks in a row.
So 2 weeks ago, we asked Robin, can we have something that's either terrible or something that's either brilliant? And 2 weeks, we've now had that. Robin's not responsible for one of them, but this is number one.
Oh, it's easy.
By Oodles head.
Easily the best thing we've seen this season so
it's
far.
not even close. Will it be number one by the end? Remains to be seen. Ross has certainly put in a good play for this year's wildcard winner.
Look, it's a fantastic marker.
Yeah. It's beatable. It's not... I don't think it's... I think it's beatable, definitely.
I thought it was great.
I agree.
Did I love it?
Exactly.
I'm not sure. I'm very, very fresh off it, though.
Yeah. How fresh?
I finished it about 6 hours ago.
Oh, really? Today? Wow.
Yeah.
Today fresh.
So I maybe need a couple more days to...
I only
as
watched
it's
it last
still
night
sinking
myself,
in.
so I'm only 24 hours away from it.
Yeah.
But visually, it's beautiful.
It's great.
I do think it's beatable.
It's great. Is it an all-timer for bottom of the stream? I'm not so sure at the minute.
Yeah, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
The wildcard race is very much open. Let's put it that way. Sure.
But it's definitely the best thing we've seen so far.
100%.
Easily.
It's not even close. All let's say at number 2 is an insult to this movie.
Yeah. It really is.
That being said, shall we pick next week's film?
Let's do it.
See if we can beat it straight off. That's not the right app.
Okay. You want to beat it straight off? You do.
Depends who's in it. What would you like?
Explosions.
Explode. You always say explode.
I know.
I feel like we're missing a horror film from this year's list.
Yeah, I think that's
I
fair
don't
shout
think
as well.
We've not done a horror for a while. I'd like something scary. Shall I press the button?
Do it.
It has picked a film called Setup.
Okay.
Any idea what Setup is?
None whatsoever.
Okay, let me just look it up on IMDb. Oh my goodness. Okay. According to IMDb, it's an action crime drama thriller.
Oh, good. Love an action crime drama.
Would you like a synopsis?
Yes, please.
A group of friends become involved in a potentially deadly diamond heist. We love a heist movie this season.
Oh, is that it?
Yep, that's what it says.
Okay.
More importantly, would you like a cast list, Nick?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's from 2011.
Oh, is it quite old?
Going back 11 years for it. Stars a guy who you will know. His name is 50 Cent.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely on board.
Stars another guy whose name you will know. His name is Ryan Felipe.
Yeah, he feels very 2011.
He does indeed. And also stars Bruce Willis.
Okay, welcome back to the show, Bruce.
Hopefully you can treat us better than you did last time. Randy Couture's in it. James Remar's in it.
Oh, he's Dexter's dad, wasn't he?
He is Dexter's dad indeed. Yeah.
I'm excited.
This is happening.
It's quite the cast.
Doing another Willis film, but from 2011.
Okay.
Do you know the IMDb rating?
Yes.
4.4.
Oh.
It's a bit better.
Okay.
So yeah, go out and check out Setup. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Our username is at @POTS_podcast. Drop us an email if you want to. bottomofthestream@gmail.com is the email address. And the website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded. You'll find all the stream tables. You will find loads of other cool stuff. And if you want to buy some merch, you can buy a Bottom of the Stream. He's forgotten again.
About blanking.
Blanket.
Blanket. Fine. I said I'm blanking.
Blanket, why not? I think you can actually get a blanket.
I was going to go with plant pot because I just looked out the window.
Oh, do you like my plant pot?
Yeah, lovely.
Thanks.
Could do with the bottom of the stream logo on it.
I'll stick one on. So after you've done all that, head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/bottom of the stream. You will on there for a couple of quid every month. You will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you'll get a wild card, which means you can do what Ross has just done and maybe get to the top of the stream.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. And then after you've done all of that, head into the Discord. The Discord link will be in the show notes. Discord is a great place to hang out. There's loads of cool people in there. We have watch-alongs, we play games, we do all sorts of cool stuff. So come and join that. The Discord link will be in the show notes.
Please do. It is a good time.
It is. We had a great time watching Robert on Sunday. We're definitely going to do more watch-alongs. We've got some other ideas in the melting pot too.
Hop in the Discord. Also, if you've got a few minutes, please leave us a review. Anywhere you can review or rate podcasts. That could be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Podchaser. Anywhere you find podcasts, we're at all of those places. And it really helps give our show a bit of a boost and find some lovely new people for us to make friends with.
It does indeed. It's great.
Yeah.
And then when you've done all of that, go and watch Set Up. And we'll come back on Monday for The Wave and next Thursday to talk to you about that film.
Cheers.
Bye.